One of downtown Des Moines' landmark office buildings may soon become one of the fanciest condo complexes. Downtown experts say the 80-year-old Equitable building at 604 Locust could become the home to expensive condos, lofts, and apartments, some costing more than $1 million. Developer Bob Knapp, who recently created the Suites of 800 Locust Hotel downtown, is the man behind the new project. He's discussed plans for new office space on the first few floors of the Equitable building and high-rise luxury homes on the top 12 floors. Developers say they'll release more details once the building sale is completed. Well, it looks like the Des Moines Botanical Center will not close its doors.
But it will have a new operator. News Channel 8's Todd Meagle is live at the Botanical Center tonight with the big changes. And Todd, who's taking over here?
Steve, the new operator, believe it or not, is the Des Moines Waterworks. But they are saying that fans of the Botanical Center will probably never know the difference once this transfer is made. Today, Des Moines city leaders and managers of the Waterworks nailed down a new plan to transfer control of the Botanical Center. The shift would save cash for the financially strapped city of Des Moines. That's more than $400,000 a year in expenses. The Waterworks, which provides most of the drinking water in the metro, says it should be able to operate the Botanical Center more efficiently and spread the costs out over far more metro customers. We talked with General Manager L.D. McMullen. He says, don't expect to see a fee for the Botanical Center on your water bill.
We think that we have an excellent opportunity to make this really a neutral operation. So we're not anticipating that the water ratepayers are going to have to subsidize the Botanical Center or that the Botanical Center is going to make money for the Waterworks.
Now, the city and the Waterworks still have to work out all the details, the agreement for this transfer, but they expect that to happen soon. And the transfer and the new operator could take over sometime this fall.
Okay, Todd, the Botanical Center hasn't had a whole lot of upkeep thanks to budget cuts, but will that change?
Well, probably not for the first 6 months. The Waterworks wants to run it just the same as it has been. After that, though, they expect new updates and some changes that people hopefully will notice and like.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Well, if you're planning on going out for a drink after work tomorrow, keep the new .08 law in mind. The state is using a new public service announcement to spread the word about the new blood alcohol limit. Police say they're not targeting social drinkers. They are targeting people who drink and drive. Over the weekend, Cedar Rapids police set up checkpoints to get an idea of what they'll be dealing with. On Saturday night, they issued one drunk driving citation. They warned 30 other drivers who had been drinking but did not test above .10.
American forces in Iraq are arresting dozens of people loyal to Saddam Hussein. The military says it's just another part of the ongoing war on terror. It's called Operation Sidewinder, and the goal is to make Iraq safer for U.S. troops. At least 23 soldiers have died since major combat ended on May 1st. So far, U.S. forces have arrested 61 people.
States of emergency have been declared in Louisiana and portions of Mississippi tonight as Tropical Storm Bill continues pounding the Gulf Coast, drenching everything in its wake. The system spawned a tornado near New Orleans that ripped through a trailer park, leaving 4 people injured and more than 11,000 homes without power. The second tropical storm of the year is churning 60 mile per hour winds and has dumped as much as a foot of rain in parts of Mississippi.
And through the magic of computers and radars, meteorologist Jason Parkin back in the weather lab is going to give us the latest look at Bill.
Man, a lot of rain down there already and more to come, 4 to 7 inches more for some of these people. Here's a look at our Viper computer. Tropical Storm Bill moving to the north at about 15 miles an hour. Gusts to about 55 now, and even gusts into the 60s at times. And again, flood stages 3 to 5 feet above normal along the coast as coastal flooding is occurring, and a lot of heavy rain in that part of the country. For us, much different story. Beautiful night ahead. Temperatures begin to rise a little bit the next few days, and we'll talk about the possibility of storms. Of course, nothing like Bill happening late in the week. We'll do that coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
Thanks. Yes.
Well, still to come, it looks like a regular van on the outside, but on the inside, it's a new high-tech way to scan your body for disease. And Iowa is one of the first states to get it.
Plus, see just how popular the National Do Not Call list really is.
Over 120 new laws go into effect tomorrow. I'm Dan Winters. I'll tell you which ones affect you and which ones might sound a little bit odd coming up.
You're watching KCCI News Channel 8 at 10. Iowa's news leader. With Kevin Cooney, Jeanette Trumpeter, Heidi Soliday Sports, and meteorologist John McLaughlin with exclusive live Super Doppler weather. This is KCCI News Channel 8.
When you wake up tomorrow morning, .08 will not be the only new state law you'll have to obey.
More than 120 new laws cover some things you may not have thought of. News Channel 8's Dan Winters is in the newsroom now to tell us about them. Dan?
Aaron, they range from a required hearing test for babies to deer meat for prisoners. Now pay attention because we're going to try and catch you up to speed. The Iowa legislature and the governor have enacted 122 new laws that go into effect on Tuesday. For a glimpse at a few, let's begin where everyone starts out life, at the hospital. Of the 90 hospitals in Iowa, only 4 of them don't give a hearing screening to newborns. Starting Tuesday, they'll be required to. And mom and dad, you'll pay more for Junior's birth certificate. The extra $5 to $10 will go to help track birth defects. The state is giving incentive pay for its employees to make a trip to the hospital. They'll get 5 days paid leave if they donate bone marrow, 30 days for any vascular organs. Another new law says hunters in prisons can participate in a project that feeds deer meat to inmates. It's supposed to reduce large herds of the animal and provide prisons with cheap food. But inmates won't be able to enjoy the venison for long. As of Tuesday, prisoners, including those convicted of violent crimes, only have to serve 70% of their sentences before they're eligible for parole. Until now, they've had to serve 85% of their time. If you own a car, some new laws apply to you as well. Des Moines overtime parking fines have tripled to $15, and when you sell that car, it has to come with a damage disclosure statement to prevent people from unloading their lemons onto others. And if you're so thrilled with all these new laws, you want to invite over the people who made them. The 150 legislators have erased the $3 limit you can spend on their food, drink, and entertainment next session. Just be sure you don't break the law by failing to file a report. Now, as you can tell, it's a lot to keep track of, and Aaron, if you want to read all the new laws, you'll have to take a look at the new Iowa Code and its supplements.
Yeah, sounds like it might be a good idea, Dan. Any other new legislation people might want to know about?
Well, there's a new breast cancer awareness license plate. It'll cost you about $45, and all the proceeds go to breast cancer screening.
Certainly a good cause.
Yep.
Thanks, Dan.
A whopping 10 million people have put telemarketers permanently on hold. In just the first 4 days of the program, Americans signed up for the National Do Not Call list at a rate of 158 people per second. If you register, telemarketers need to stop calling you by October or face a hefty fine. If you haven't registered and would like to do so, you can just go to donotcall.gov or call 1-888-382-1222.
Gradual warming trend and thunderstorms to talk about. We'll do that after the break. So John McLaughlin picked a good week off, a nice night in progress, and a warm summery week, at least for the first part of it. Outside right now at the International Airport, here's the way it looks. 76 degrees and clear skies. We have light easterly winds. Now, we may see a little patchy fog in some low-lying areas tonight. Otherwise, pretty mild overnight, 53% relative humidity. Pressure on the rise at 30.1. Of course, the big weather news this week, Tropical Storm Bill making landfall earlier today. It's moving off to the north-northeast at about 15 miles an hour. Maximum wind gusts in the 60s right now. They've had a foot of rain in some places, 4 to 7 more inches to go. So a lot of flooding taking place down here, some isolated tornadoes possible, and very busy weather picture down there. A different story in the northern plains, at least right now. Temperatures across the state of Iowa. Tumwa's at 71 degrees. Waterloo's at 72. Algona is still at 79. Sioux City 75 and Council Bluffs 73. And all this is kind of foreshadowing what will be a warmer week. High pressure in place in the northern plains. One lone supercell, a rotating thunderstorm over south central South Dakota. And then you have your Tropical Storm Bill moving off to the north. And again, for us, things will stay pretty quiet, at least for the next couple of days. Your predictor computer model, 11 o'clock tonight, mild conditions. They'll continue through tomorrow, and things will warm up just a little bit more tomorrow. We'll see winds start to become more southerly, especially in southwestern Iowa. You folks will see some slightly warmer temperatures. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm down by Lamoni and down by Corning. We'll keep an eye out for that possibility. Predictor computer model, 6 o'clock in the morning, lows in the low to mid-60s overnight, and as we work our way through the day on Tuesday, we'll see again a day slightly warmer than today, maybe a little bit more muggy, and high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, slightly warmer temperatures in southwest Iowa. So here you go with your forecast for tonight, 62 degrees and southeasterly winds at right around 5. Tomorrow's high temperature, a nice summery day for the first day of July, 85 degrees, southeast winds at 5 to 10. And your 5-day forecast, a warmer one with a high of 88 Wednesday. Yankee Doodle Pops, 91 degrees on Thursday. And folks around Algona on Thursday night might want to watch out for an isolated thunderstorm or two. And then isolated storms late in the day, a possibility Friday and Saturday. But don't be too surprised if those are just isolated. Again, nothing to worry about. We'll keep an eye on that.
Okay, and you'll be here through the holiday, correct?
Yes.
Me too. All right, we'll keep an eye on that for you, Steve.
Okay, please do that.
All right.
I'll check in with you guys.
Thanks, Chase.
Please do.
Coming up in tomorrow's Des Moines Register, you'll get a guide to this year's Jazz in July concerts. And an Iowa leader says he got sucked into an illegal gambling ring. Plus, find out what's threatening some of Des Moines' largest and oldest shade trees.
It may not look like much on the outside, but inside this mobile van is cutting-edge technology to the tune of $3 million. I'm Molly Cooney. I'll take you inside coming up.
Welcome back. It's not every day that the latest in medical technology makes a house call.
But that's exactly what will happen every Thursday at Iowa Methodist Medical Center. Health reporter Molly Cooney looks at what a special multi-million-dollar mobile van can do for patients.
In the past, CAT scans and PET scans were separate tests that took hours, but now the two have not only become faster, they also have been combined. Every Thursday, this mobile lab will become a familiar sight at Iowa Methodist Medical Center because it's bringing to Central Iowa the first PET-CAT scanner.
What that allows us to do is have a much more specific information about where disease is, how active it is. There's no guessing with location because it's fused with a CAT scanning image.
Larry Whitaker of Oskaloosa is one of the first Central Iowa patients to take advantage of the PET fusion scanner.
Well, I'm here to have a PET scan and a CAT scan today. I just came through some chemotherapy and radiation, which finished up in March. And this is just a kind of a follow-up to see that the cancer that was in my neck is gone.
And we'll have you have a seat right here and lay down with your head on that pillow.
In just under 20 to 25 minutes, the scan will be complete.
Then on the computers, that information is fused together so I can see both the PET images and the CT images together.
Doctors say because cancer functions at a higher metabolic rate, they can detect normal cells from abnormal cells in 3D images.
The CAT scanner is computerized X-ray images. We can see cross-sectional images of the body in 3 different planes. So we can be very specific with where abnormalities are.
The scans are covered by insurance and eventually will be used to detect other diseases. Doctors say this is the first big improvement in the PET scan.
It provides us with a much more accurate diagnosis and treatment of disease.
The mobile van cost upwards of $3 million, so it rotates between 10 and 15 hospitals in the Midwest, including 2 here in Iowa. Doctors say while it may someday replace the traditional CAT and PET scanners, right now it's considered just another tool in the toolbox to help treat their patients. For Here's to Your Health, I'm Molly Cooney.
Thank you, Molly. Still to come on News Channel 8 at 10, young golfers share their secrets for success at the Pee Wee Golf Tournament in Grinnell.
Plus, new information that someone shot a missing Baylor basketball player. Who did it and why is next in sports.
Does a former Baylor basketball player know the secret behind the disappearance of a teammate? Police in Waco, Texas think so. Patrick Dennehy, who just finished sitting out a transfer year, was ready to begin playing for Baylor this season. He came to Baylor from New Mexico. Dennehy's roommate this past season was Carlton Dotson. According to court documents down in Texas, Dotson told his cousin that he and Dennehy were arguing while they were shooting guns and that Dotson, quote, shot his roommate in the head with a 9mm, unquote. Dennehy has been missing for nearly 3 weeks. The information regarding the alleged shooting came via a police informant. The scene of the alleged shooting has not been determined. And by the way, Dotson was no longer a member of the Baylor team and had told his high school coach that he was transferring. NCAA basketball returns to Iowa State next spring. This was the scene at Hilton Coliseum in 2002 when Iowa State hosted a regional in women's basketball. Word today that the Clones will host first and second round games this March as one of 16 sites. The dates of the event, March 20th through the 23rd. The Iowa Cubs out west tonight to start a 4-game series in Colorado Springs. And in the 8th inning now, the Sky Sox are shutting out Iowa 3-0. Chicago Cubs at Philly, no score, top of the third. Sean Estes becomes the 5th Cubs pitcher to homer this season. A solo for Sean off Vicente Padilla. Consecutive singles in the 4th gave the Cubs a 2-0 lead. This is Sammy Sosa singling in that second run. But a Jim Thome dinger in the 7th inning was the difference. A 2-run shot for a 4-3 win for the Phillies. It was Philadelphia's 6th consecutive victory. In a showdown of division leaders, San Fran's Jason Schmidt shut down the Cards tonight in St. Louis. Big 4th for the Giants. Jose Cruz tripled in Benito Santiago and Pedro Felix. The big hit to center, part of a 3-run 4th. The shutout still going in the 7th, and Barry Bonds makes it 5-0 with an RBI single. The final, Giants 5, Cards 1. Schmidt improves to 8-3. Cleveland and Kansas City playing 2 games tonight. First game, all tribe, and look who got it all here. Indianola's own Casey Blake smacking his first career granny for the Indians. Cleveland won the first game 10-5. By the way, Blake would later homer in game 2 as well. A 5-run 3rd for the White Sox hosting the Twins. Both Maglio Ordonez and Jose Valentin would hit 2-run homers, both off Joe Mays. Ordonez also dingered in the 7th. Twins tried to get a bunch back in the 7th. They got a pair of solos by Bobby Kielty and A.J. Przinsky, but final White Sox 10 and the Twins 3. A golfing tradition teed off for the 40th time in Grinnell this morning. A long-standing event with some very short participants. Mark Meisenheimer has the story.
At the 40th annual Larry Crawford State Pee Wee Golf Tournament in Grinnell, golfers from ages 4 to 12 are doing whatever they can to get an edge on the competition.
I wasn't playing good, so I switched to Sierra Mist. So far, I played a lot better, but I'm not sure if that will hold.
If it holds or not, at least he has an advantage over kids of years past.
40 years ago, the kids came, Mark, and they had the cut-off clubs from their grandpa or the grandma or their folks. Now they've got state-of-the-art lightweight titanium.
But the winning attitude has never changed in Grinnell. What are you shooting for?
At first place.
First place. Well, what are you going to have to shoot to get first place? Any idea?
No.
And some who have won have even gone on to bigger things.
We've had 88 kids go through here in the Pee Wee that are now professionals. And this year at the U.S. Open, we had Sean McCarty played in it and Doug Dunicki, and they were both former champions here.
There's a little bit of everything for everyone at this tournament. They even have media interviewing media.
Mark Meisenheimer is here to...
In Grinnell, Mark Meisenheimer, KCCI Sports.
Andre Agassi was no match for a bunch of aces, and the men's second seed was eliminated from Wimbledon today. Mark Philippoussis drilled 46 aces in the 4th round against Agassi. Philippoussis still had to fight off Agassi in 5 sets. Agassi was trying to become the oldest Wimbledon champ in the Open era. Philippoussis has never advanced beyond the 4th round. Serena and Venus Williams both move on to the quarters, which will have 2 All-American matches because Lindsay Davenport and Jennifer Capriati also won, as did Andy Roddick, who's from Omaha.
Oh, congrats to him and Mark Meisenheimer.
We'll be right back.
Today's market report is sponsored by the Des Moines office of A.G. Edwards & Sons.
All right, Jason, pretty decent forecast heading into the holiday.
It'll feel like July. A warming trend through Thursday. Don't forget about Yankee Doodle Pops. And then isolated thunderstorms on Friday and Saturday.
It'll feel like July. That's good. Yeah, it's July. Perfect.
How novel.
Thanks, Jason. A combination of beautiful art and beautiful weather brought huge crowds to the Des Moines Art Festival this weekend.
Organizers say about 210,000 people flooded the river bridges downtown. More than 150 artists from around the country displayed their work, and many walked away with a little bit of money in their pocket. Art sales averaged $7,500 per artist.
So you're shopping this week. Okay. Thank you for joining us tonight. News Channel 8 This Morning, I guess, is next.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.